Nothing good's happened this week.
Finally, something. Is it? Oh, great. Okay, that's nice. Thank you. You all look great too. We all look great.
Can anybody hear me now?
The Friday Glow.
No,
Oh,
say no.
yeah.
Everybody say no.
I'm here.
No, yeah, it's all right.
You're like, it's like you have a harem, Peter. It's all ladies right now, huh?
All ladies.
Michael's here.
Yeah.
Michael.
Guy. Oh, wait, no, Michael's
Oh,
there.
there's
Michael's
And
there.
Rob,
And
too.
Rob is here, okay.
Well done, Rob.
The other two
I
girls.
was afraid.
Just
I just in, I didn't see you.
Yeah, can always pretend. You never know these days.
It's still all girls, Peter. Still all girls. Don't worry.
No, hang on. Rob and Michael might take exception to that.
Rob's a big girl's blouse.
Oh, that's fighting talk.
Noreen, you're not here long enough to know I have a list of enemies.
Definitely not.
But we know where you live.
Oh, listen, that's twice now from Noreen. We know where you live.
No, none of that say I know where your kids go to school.
Yeah, look at her.
That always scares people.
Look at her with her big Northern Iron head on her.
I tell you.
Listening to you all. How are you doing?
There she is.
Hi,
I can
Joanne.
hardly see anyone. Can everyone?
Louise.
Videos up for everyone. I can only
Yeah.
see Fiona, Noreen, Elizabeth,
Come
Lorraine.
into the
Oh,
top
Stephanie, I can see you.
gallery view. On the top right-hand corner, there's a view choice, and you have a speaker view and a gallery view.
That
Okay,
should
I thought I
allow
had
you
it
to see
on-
most
I have it.
people.
I have it on gallery view.
Yeah.
I have it on gallery view. Oh, people are. Do you know what? It's just slow. People are just starting to stream in now. So now I'm
Oh,
seeing loads of more. I see Michael Keith now, and
Jean,
Stephanie, Noreen
Jean,
Collins,
Jean, your connection's been a bit dodgy today, even on the call earlier, so I think it's just taking time to load.
Are you Air? Air is pretty bad.
I couldn't tell you what the network is. Anyway.
Okay, so how are we all? Happy Friday!
Happy Friday!
Happy Friday.
Are we all good?
We're good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent.
Hi Lorraine, hi Siobhan.
Oh, fancy
we've a
coffee
few-
again.
Hi everyone.
We've a few new people here today. They don't know the rules yet.
Yeah, well,
So-
sometimes you don't either, Peter.
No, I don't. I make it up as I go along, but I'm allowed to do that because I wear a shirt like this. So for the new people, good afternoon. How are you? There are two rules, guys. You must have your microphones on so we can hear you, and you must have your cameras on so we can see you. Because this is a community. This is not a web.
And you must have clothes on so we're not offended.
Yeah.
Really? Is that not
Siobhan
just
is-
a
Siobhan has
prerequisite
even put on
always,
a
Joanne?
blanket there.
I just remembered that third rule, so I put a blanket on.
This is not a webinar, guys. This is a community. All right. So we're all part of it and we're all in on it. And, we'll get there. Right. Now, what you will see as we go through today is that Louise spends most of her time trying to impress the older children and show off
What
how
are
much
you
she
even
knows.
talking about?
The plaintiff rests. But look, we're going to get there. Let me see how many
I just
people
keep
have.
you in check, Peter.
Sorry?
I just keep you in check.
When you're trying to. I'll give you that. I'll give
That's
you
why
that.
I actually do try. I don't succeed.
I know. So I'm just having a look here. Okay, we have 20 online at the moment, which is great. I think there were 26 registered or 27 registered. But look, we won't hold ourselves up here because of that. Now, how are we all feeling this week?
Right.
Itchy.
Glad it's over.
There was a rant going on when I joined in about the new lockdown situation.
Yeah.
And isn't it bizarre? We're not even allowed to visit each other's houses as of, was it midnight last night? So that's not great, is it?
Doesn't stop us doing pitch perfect though.
Doesn't stop us doing
No.
pitch perfect, absolutely.
Friday evening, Peter.
Sorry?
Yeah,
That's why we all come to your house on a Friday evening.
That's it, exactly. That's why you're here.
He has promised champagne when all this is over, haven't you? We're
I
all
have,
going to assemble at your
absolutely.
place.
Everybody's
for that
getting to
date.
go. Absolutely. So excellent. All
Are
right.
you providing? Are you sending it to us all in advance, Peter?
We'll all come here for champagne.
We pile into the
When it's
utility room.
over. Listen to
Can't
the
wait for
second
the
half of the
utility room.
sentence, Louise. Okay?
Stop
That's
giving
always your
out.
problem. You're always butting in before the sentence is finished.
Oh, sure.
Anyway, guys, do we unfortunately feel like we're in even more of a prison than we were last week?
Here.
No.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it is a bit that way, isn't it? So, does anybody have the words that I called out at the start of last week to hand?
Oh, Lord.
You mean the one, the song or
Now I
something?
put it up to you. Anyway,
I do, teacher, I do.
oh, look at
Teacher,
this,
I
look at
do.
this. You probably
Sheen.
have,
Oh, you're
it's
going to make us all look bad.
oh, you
Yeah.
probably have an apple for teacher as well, do you? But anyhow, what I want you to do, right?
Sorry, Peter, I missed. I think there was a bit of guff there. What was that? Mine is breaking up, but I didn't hear what you said to me.
I said you probably have an apple for teacher as well as your notes.
I've got a jelly snakes.
Right.
They're way too small. Way too small. Now, okay, so what I want everybody to do, we're going to start slightly differently this week, okay? What I'd like everybody to do is stand up, please.
Oh God.
Yeah, this is the bit where I found out where you actually put pants on.
I don't know if I can stand up.
up.
Can I be?
Everybody, stand up and tilt your camera so we can see you.
See?
Is anyone really standing up?
Yep.
Want to see the face or the legs?
Jerome, do you
No,
actually have
it's not
clothes
see the
underneath?
people.
You're
It's
looking
not-
at as if you've nothing on underneath.
Standing up.
I'm cold. I'm cold.
Okay.
I've got a top, but it's white. It goes against the background. See, I
Excellent.
did-
Are we all up?
We're all standing
Yeah.
up.
Okay.
Oh, I haven't put my video on.
I want you to repeat after me. What we want is living easy,
Living easy.
Easy.
living free.
Living
Free.
We want a season ticket to a one-way ride.
We want to see
Take it to a one-way ride.
Right.
Ask you nothing. Leave me be.
Ask me nothing. Leave me be.
Taking everything in my stride.
Taking everything
in
in
my
my
stride.
stride.
Don't need reason.
Don't need
reason.
Don't need rhyme.
Don't need
rhyme.
Ain't nothing I would rather do.
Ain't nothing I would rather do.
Going down party time.
Go down.
Party time.
Time.
And my friends are going to be there too.
My friends are going to be there too.
Are you ready?
We need some music.
Excellent.
How are we feeling now, guys?
Amazing. Much
We feel a
better.
little bit
Where's
more
that glass of
energized
champagne?
Thank you.
now. Okay.
Best way to start a Zoom call. Jesus.
Isn't that the right way to start a Zoom
That's
call?
the best way to do it.
Anybody joining in when we were all in the middle of dancing, they must have thought they were on the wrong call.
They probably did. No, not if they've been here before. They had to do. So, do we feel a bit more like it's Friday now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Needed that. Oh,
Sorry.
dog. Sorry, Joanne's dog just very distracted me there.
Oh,
Super cute.
Oh, look, a puppy.
Poppy.
No, he's not
Oh.
a puppy. My baby.
Anyway, guys, great to see you all here. And where is Mary? Mary, give us a wave. Okay. We love Mary.
I love me.
Andrea and Isabel, welcome to the Madhouse.
Yeah.
Now, the reason I picked out Mary, the reason I picked out Mary there was that on most Fridays, Mary in the evening sends me an email to say thank you for doing this and tells me what she got out of it each week. And you know what? It's a lovely lift for me as well to know that somebody's paying attention and somebody can hear through Louise, which is brilliant. Okay. Now, so in a discussion during the week, I said to Mary, do you know what? What would you like us to talk about this week in Pitch Perfect? So here we are, and what I'm going to do is what Mary's asked for is, over the last number of weeks, we've looked at the ingredients to making a good pitch, haven't we? We've looked at, how to lay it out, how to do the step-by-step, all that kind of stuff. And by the way, for anybody who's new or hasn't been here for more than a week, there is a video page on the Ireland Together website with all the previous ones on it, okay? So they're all available. You can pick up and catch up and see what you've missed along the way. But what Mary asked about today was, it's not just about the ingredients, it's the doing of it. The actual acting it out. The actual putting a bit of energy into it, putting a bit of pizzazz into it, right? Because let's face it, it's Friday afternoon. How many of you are zoomed out at this stage?
Actually, I'm not.
Right?
Yeah.
This is my 5th Zoom call today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what were the other ones like? Did you dance at any of them around?
Well, you know something, as I was hosting them, they might have really thought they'd arrived to the wrong place if I had been dancing.
Well, one of the things, isn't it, guys? We go on and we can be excited about a webinar or something that we're going to look at. And really and truly, they turn up and they may as well go, hello. Let me take 2 minutes to tell you how I'm going to bore the whole off you. And then I spend 25 minutes boring the whole off you. And on it goes. Isn't that what we got used to seeing?
Louise, do you want the buzzer switch?
Sorry?
Like, I'm giving up at this stage, ladies.
Am I wrong, though?
No.
No. Okay. So how do you make it something a bit more like this? And I was thinking about this over the last few days. And what I realized, guys, most of us, when we do a pitch, when we do a presentation, when we do whatever it is, we come at it from a point of weakness, don't we? We're nervous about it. We're wondering if we've got the right content. We're wondering if we're in front of the right people, don't we?
Yeah.
It's all wondering, right? And then the normal thing is we get to the end and they say, maybe, how much? And then we panic, don't we? We go, yeah. And then we try and get into this whole negotiation, which also comes from an area of weakness, doesn't it? And then we go into the air and go, please buy my thing, please, right? And where does it end up? I need
Think about it.
I need to think about it. And 9 times out of 10, do they ever come back to us? No. Okay. So what we're going to do is, what would it mean if you could actually present from a point of strength instead of from a point of weakness? What difference would that make? What if you knew your stuff, you knew it really well, you knew you were in front of the right audience, and you could actually do something that was really good for them so that when you got to the end, it wasn't coming from a point of weakness? Who'd like to know about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Say yes, please.
Yes, please.
Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to bring over my little drawing pad here. Everybody see us?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now, here we go. So the first thing is, I want to talk about what we see out there at the moment. All right? So I'm going to draw a little picture here. Do you know what it is yet?
Megaphone?
Who, who remembers that question from their childhood?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what it is yet?
It's a didgeridoo, mate.
For those of you who don't recognize that, in the 80s, if you grew up in Ireland in the 80s, there was a guy on the television called Rolf Harris, who was an Australian guy, and he was a really good artist, but he certainly that, and he'd always go, do you know what it is yet? And where is he now, ladies and gentlemen?
I think he's still in jail.
Prison.
He's in prison because he was a kitty fiddler. Woo! Right? Now,
Peter, I don't think you say woohoo at that point.
the point I'm making the woohoo is about to come. Because right about now, he's in a shower somewhere in
With a
prison.
didgeridoo.
With somebody coming up behind him going, do you know what it is yet, Rolf?
Oh my God, Louise, see, I think that's worse than swearing.
Now, what have I got?
A bike.
You've got a bicycle, right? Now, we haven't got a bicycle, we've got a bicycle frame.
It looks like a test.
I'll color it in a bit then, right? Make it easier for you, okay? Anyway, that's your bicycle frame. What I want you to do is I want you to imagine that the bicycle frame is the basics of what you do in your business. Because we can buy different types of bicycle frames, can't we?
Yeah.
Upright ones that you go shopping with, and road racing ones that you do the Tour de France with, and mountain bike frames that you go into the forest with, and all that kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the actual type of frame dictates what the bicycle is going to be used for. Are you with me?
Mhm.
And we're all really good at that. We're all really good at the basics. So that is, you know, whether you're an accountant or an architect or whatever, making clothes, whatever it happens to be, right? Now, you go into business for yourself and you are technically good at the basics of your business. But for you to have a business, what do you need to have?
Customers.
Customers. So, can the bicycle frame go anywhere on its own?
No.
No. So what do you
The
need
wheels.
to make it go? You need the wheels. It won't go anywhere without the
Oh,
wheels.
now it looks right.
Right? Now,
Good now.
so what I want you to do is I want you to imagine that the bicycle frame is what you do. The wheels are the sails that turn it into a business. That's what makes it move and makes it start to go in the direction you want. And then what are we missing? We're missing the
Handlebars.
and the saddle and the pedals and all the things that make it move efficiently. And I want you to think of that as your ancillaries. So Lisa there, who did a lovely talk this morning on tax affairs, the person who manages the office, the delivery section, all that kind of stuff. Think of that as the parts that allow the efficient movement. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Now, it doesn't matter how good the saddle is, or how good the handlebars, or how good the pedals are, if you don't have what? Wheels. That's the most important part. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
For your business is the sales. You with me?
Yeah.
Okay. So, this is what we have. Now, what did we say earlier? We said that there are different bicycles for different situations. So who remembers a thing called the Triumph 20? A really upright bike with a basket on the front of it. Do you remember those?
Yes.
Now, can you go up the Alps in the Tour de France on a Triumph 20?
No.
No, you can't. Well, you could, but it'll take a hell of a long time. You certainly wouldn't stay in the race. And would you spend 12 grand on a carbon fiber racing bike to go to the shops?
No.
That would be ridiculous, wouldn't it? Right? And look, there's lots. We could talk about mountain bikes and BMX bikes and all that, but they all have their individual uses. How often do we go to stuff when we see presentations and you say to somebody, what do you do? I sell bikes. Okay. I need to go up a stage in the Tour de France. Will your bike do that? Yeah. Will it go to the shops? Yeah. Oh, would it go in the mountains? Yeah. It's a bike. Bikes are for everyone. That's my bike, right? And you come away going, I don't really know if that's the right one for me. So what do you say? I'll think about it. Right? And what happens is, later on, the person rings you up and says, did you think about my bike? And they go, yeah. Oh, what do you think about the figures? Yeah, I kind of thought about it. And do you want to buy it? Well, I'm not really sure. I'll give you some discount. Right? And all the time, what are we left wondering? Is it really the bike for me? And what did they say? They give you €500 discount off the bike, and you still go, I still don't know. And they go, please buy my bike. Please. Is that coming from the weakness side or the strength side?
Weakness.
The weakness side. Now let me ask you a question. How many networking things have you been to in the last 10 years? How many business situations have you been in the last 10 years that were acted out exactly as I've just done?
Too many.
Way too many. Okay? And there are two reasons, in my opinion, for this. Okay? And like it says on the Twitters, all opinions are my own. Right? So the two reasons are, the first problem is most people don't know what their bike does. And the second reason is they don't know who to sell it to. Does that make sense? So what do? They try and sell it to who?
Everyone.
Everybody! And it's never going to suit everybody, okay? So what we're going to talk about today is how to know who your body is, not your everybody and not your anybody, okay? So it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you bought your first bicycle last week, or you started your first business last week, or you've gone into your first job last week, or whether you're 20 years in it. It's about identifying where you pitch yourself, okay? So what I want you to do is imagine you're all in different professions, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
So what I want you to do is imagine that in your profession, that line there is ground zero. That is knowing zero about your profession. And we have a line goes up there, and up here, we have 100% of what's to be known about that profession. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are so many professions out there. Does anybody ever get to know 100%?
No.
No, right? And you know what? When I meet somebody who tells me I know 100% about my business, I run like hell. Because what are they usually? Spoofers.
Yes.
Right? Now, here's the point. All of us are somewhere between 0 and 100, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And we could be here, we could be here, we could be here, we could be wherever. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, for today's example, I want you to imagine that just in your profession, you are here. Just imagine that for a moment. Okay?
Oh my God.
I know, Rob, sorry. You know, you thought you were getting there, but I've news for you, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Too much pressure.
The point is, if you are here, you want to come across from a point of strength. So to come across from a point of strength, somebody needs to see you as what?
An expert?
An expert. Well, where on that line do you think an expert might be? Should an
Definitely
expert
above there.
be here? Should an expert be here? Should an expert be up here at 95%? What do you think?
No, a bit lower. 80%.
Isn't an expert
Around
something
80.
They know, but they don't necessarily need to know everything.
It's
But here's-
relative.
It's,
It all depends.
aha, now we have it. If you were here, you are an expert to every single person that's below here. Think about this, right? Who can remember their very, very first part-time job as a teenager,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? And you went in, it didn't matter what it was. You could be working in the supermarket or working in an office or whatever it is, making the tea. On the day that you started, you knew nothing. Now, a week later, you probably know where the petty cash box is, where the tea bags are kept, what the quickest route to the shop is, right? And where the keys to the office are. You might not know much more than that, would you?
Mhm.
Maybe not.
So you would be there going, I'm only a week in this business and I know nothing. But if somebody started the following Monday who knew nothing at all, and you know where the keys are, where the tea bags are kept, where how to boil the kettle, how everybody likes their tea, what the quickest route to the shop is, what are you to that person that's just started?
The expert.
You're an expert. You're an absolute hero to them. So start to think about it this way. Below that line, everybody down here is absolutely going to be gobsmacked by you. But what would happen if you met somebody that was up here? What would they think of you?
Well, it depends on your approach. If you try to act like an expert in front of those people, you're going to look like a fool very quick. But if you're open about what you don't know, then the trust increases, even though you're low on maybe technical knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what do we see in most cases out there? How often have you seen somebody that's here, pitch to somebody here, and let on they're an expert?
All the time.
Yeah.
Time.
All the time.
Yeah, don't we see it all the time?
Mhm.
Now, this is the bit where I get really mean and really horrible. And ask you, can you remember the last time you did it?
No.
Oh, no, not me.
Yeah,
No,
that's the other people.
Not at
It's
all.
the other people. Yeah,
But
everyone
the
else.
fact is, everybody does it. And if you're in that situation, are you pitching, presenting, doing anything to somebody in general from a position of strength? Or doing it from a position of weakness?
Position of weakness.
And if you're doing it from a position of weakness, what are you going to do? You're going to come across as what?
Weak.
A weak presentation, and then you'll end up with negotiation. Who's going to win the negotiation?
Everyone but you.
Everyone but you. Okay? So, the first thing to take away from today is to start understanding for yourself, where are you here? And then, who are the people that fall into the areas here that you can be that expert to? And be honest with yourself. Because here's the thing. Imagine if you did do a half-decent presentation to somebody up here, but you've never been up here before. And they say, we've everything in place, we just, was one more thing we want. Have you got any testimonials from people like us? What happens?
You're losing credibility because you don't have them.
The whole bottom falls out of your world.
Mm-hmm.
And then that hits you in here, and then the whole world falls out of your bottom. And that's not pleasant. Okay? So, that took a moment, didn't it? I think Sharon's the only one that really got that. Anyway, you can see by the look on her face, she's got the pictures and all now. Anyway, do you see what I'm saying, guys?
Yep.
Start to think about who you are an expert to, because then you can start to come across with clarity and with strength. Okay?
Yeah.
And then you can give them the wow factor. That makes sense so far?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what else do we want to look at that comes across? When you have yourself ready to do it from the for wow factor point of view, and you know you can walk in and you're strong and you know what's going on, your next thing to be able to do is to figure out what? Anybody? What do you think the next thing to do is? You have your presentation now ready and you know it's going to wow them because you're up there.
Engagement.
Engagement. Okay, engagement. Because what did we say at the very start of this about the webinars we've been used to going to? They bored the what off you?
I
know. Right? So we need to do something about that. So how do you do that, guys? Anybody got any ideas?
Yeah, your audience participation, like what you did with us at the beginning.
Yeah, we start off with some audience participation. Okay, so we need to be engaging, we need to have audience participation. Now to be able to get that, it's audience participation, start that again. Audience participation, right? We need to be engaging, that was part of it, right? So how do you do that? How do you get life into your voice?
So your tonality.
Cocaine.
I'd actually like, I want to see people's notes at the end of this because there's two things we've learned about Rob so far today. He's a lady and he likes cocaine.
Yeah.
So somebody write all this down, okay?
It's recorded. It's fine.
being recorded.
It's fine. Oh,
perfect.
good. It's preserved. Good.
Now, what do you know when I talked about those webinars that are really boring? What do you think the one common denominator is? Why are they so boring? Why is their tone of voice so boring?
But there's no humor.
Content straight away, straight into like, here we're reading off a PowerPoint and you want to switch your camera up while you don't have your camera on and you just want to like go look at something else while they're talking.
Yes.
I think part of it as well, Peter, is that they've no passion themselves for what they're doing.
Yeah.
I think if you're passionate about something, it's going to come across in your tone of voice.
There is that. I'm going to show you something now. Most people concentrate on the content that they're giving you.
And the people.
They concentrate on what?
What
the
they're
words.
Yeah.
Right? Now, there was a guy, I think it's Morabian or something, somebody like that, right? Lorraine Carter will correct me on this, right? But this is a thing that a guy measured a number of years ago, and it's about communication and how communication comes across. Lots of people have tried to disprove it. You can look it up on the internet after this, and one person will say it's rubbish, and another person will say it's great. But it's been a very, very good guide to me, right? Now, when somebody gets a message from something, are you making a presentation, are you communicating in any way, shape, or form? Can anybody guess what the percentage, the impact percentage of the words is?
7. Very low.
Exactly. It is 7%.
Do I get a star for that, Peter?
You do. I'm going to send you a big gold star and you can pin it on your blanket. Right? A big gold star there, you pin it on the blanket, and when next week you look like Clint Eastwood in the High Plains Drifter.
Get the hat.
So, get that.
So the words only count for 7%. That's all. But that's what most people concentrate on. So what else could be involved in communication?
Pictures.
Body language.
Body language.
So there's numerous things, right? But the next one up the scale up. But the next one on that scale is what I call the music. Now, when it comes to language, what would I mean by music?
Tonality.
The tonality of the voice, right? Anybody guess what that comes to? Anybody guess what that comes to?
30%?
It is
38%.
Well, it
38.
depends on the one you look it up, right? I know some of you are Googling this already, right?
33%.
If you work on 33%, roughly, right? Now, what do I mean by the tonality?
Your
So,
pitch, energy in your
voice, your voice modulation.
Your voice modulation. Because let's put it this way.
Yeah.
Imagine I'd been standing here for the last 39 minutes going, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's nice to be here. Really and truly need to talk about being engaging. Using the same words. Who'd still be listening?
Nobody.
Nobody, right? This is why there's the problem with climate change. Every time you see somebody on the TV who's an expert talking about climate change, they're pointing at a map going, and you can see here that it's the upper started. It's why nobody's getting behind us. You watch 3 minutes of it and you go, oh, fuck off, let's put it on top of it, right? And that's what happens, okay? Right? So, are we agreed that nobody would listen if you didn't have some energy in your voice and a bit of tonality?
We agree.
Right?
Yeah.
So good.
What does 33 and 7% add up to?
40.
100.
It's not 100, is it? What's missing?
Body language.
60% is in what?
Threats.
Face.
Come on, Rob. Are you sure you're not from the north? We could do it, you.
60% is in
Credibility.
if we have
No, they
words
say body language, but
and we have
body
music.
language.
If we have, listen to me, if we have words and we have music,
Visuals.
what follows?
Visuals.
What did you start today's class doing?
Dancing.
Dancing.
That's ridiculous.
I need to rewrite my
60%
PowerPoint
is
slides.
in the dance. 60% is in the movement that you create, that you come across. You know the old phrase, like they claim it's Maya Angelou's, but I think it's way older. Nobody will remember what you said. Nobody will remember what you did, but they will remember
How you make them feel.
how you made them feel. And how you make somebody feel is what comes over in your tonality and most importantly in the dance. The most amazing thing about standing here watching each one of you dance during the AC/DC at the start was looking at how much you smiled. That was incredible. And I didn't expect, I'm going to be really honest with you, I didn't expect that. Because the funniest thing to watch on the planet is a sober, white, Irish person trying to dance.
Yeah.
Daddy dance.
There is nothing funnier at a wedding than watching a dad dance with his 4-year-old daughter before the wine has arrived. You know what I mean? But you did it with aplomb, guys. I have to say I was blown away. But it made you feel good.
Yes.
Yes. Been a long time since we've been out dancing.
And it has been a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Right? And I bet you wouldn't have got, a year ago, you wouldn't have got up till you'd had your 5th pint. And look, you did it for me without a drink, right?
Who says we haven't been drinking, Peter?
Sorry?
Yeah, very good, Louise.
It's always you, Louise, isn't it?
I think that was a prerequisite to drink before we come on your call.
You really think it's coffee in this cup?
I'm saying nothing. Now, anyway, the point of it is, instead of thinking of it as body language, if you think of it as the dance, if you think of it as trying to give over a good feeling about you to your potential audience, would that change how you think about it? Yeah?
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, we all know the words we want to get out. We all know that we need a bit of tonality in our voice, but think about all the ones we see out there. Is there tonality in the voice? Very seldom. And it's funny, these are interconnected, these two. You cannot put music into your voice if you're not doing the dance.
True. Yeah.
What's the one thing that I'm doing that the rest of you are not doing right now?
Moving.
Standing.
Moving.
Moving.
Except for Lorraine.
Have you ever seen me do a pitch perfect sitting down?
No.
No.
It creates a whole different dynamic to stand up.
Yeah.
You force yourself to act as if somebody was in the room. Look, I'm looking at a whole load of you now, right? And it's been a long week and you're tired and you've been bored by people, and I'm looking at the amount of you that are sitting there like that. Right? You're sitting down, you're leaning down. I have seen people do presentations into a Zoom screen like that, reading off slides.
No.
Yeah, you can see here that there's Christ on a bike, right? Now, bad enough as it is, how do you think they came across to their audience?
Uninterested, not good.
The last one I saw like that was a couple of weeks ago at 7 o'clock on a Thursday morning. And I sat there and I went, I can't believe I got out of bed for this shit.
What was the topic?
Now, the point is, that was somebody trying to sell people something. How did it make me feel that that person dragged me and other people out of bed to be on a call at 7 o'clock and couldn't be bothered to make an effort?
Resentful.
No, do you think I was going to take out my wallet and go, here, quick, give me one of those?
Just to get rid of them, yeah.
No, really, it'd be something else I'd give them to get rid of them, right? Anyway, right? Do you see the point of what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. So, here's a really good example of it. Does everybody remember a movie called Jerry Maguire?
Yes.
Yep.
Do you remember him on the telephone?
Yep.
In the office. Spinning. Yeah. What did he, come on.
Show me the money.
Show me the money.
Right, remember that?
The Oscar goes to Siobhan.
Siobhan, do that again.
You have it once.
Do it again.
One night
I won't
only.
be allowed back.
No sweats allowed here, Peter.
And sorry, Peter.
No, anyway, guys, you all heard it. Do me a favor, Siobhan.
What's
Stand up and do it again.
Oh my God. Okay, here we go.
Yes.
Go on, Siobhan.
Well done.
That's so good.
Thank you, Siobhan. Now, guys, which one had more passion in it?
Second.
Second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one had more life in it?
Second.
Standing up.
Which one put more of a smile on your face when you heard it?
Standing up.
What was the only difference?
Damn good the first time.
You know.
It was good the first time, but it wasn't it better, right? So this is what I'm trying to say to you. When you stand up, like look at me, I'm doing this as if you were in the room with me. We're not inclined to do that when we're sitting down and doing that, right? So start thinking about that, okay? I was working with a company in the UK a few years ago, and it was a call center selling insurance. And 10% of the staff came in one Monday morning and I'd taken all their chairs away. They sold 29% more insurance that day than the rest of them who still had their chairs. They came across completely differently to their customers. And that is why in Jerry Maguire, when we watched him walking up and down behind the desk with one of these mics on, he was able to get the passion into it, to get the energy into it.
Yeah.
That makes it engaging, that creates participation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah? So that's the second thing I want you to think about. How do you put life and soul and energy and inspiration into what you're doing? Imagine if you were able to come away from a presentation in a boardroom in the old days, or a presentation in a boardroom to people on a screen, and they come away from it going, yes! When can you start? What difference would that make to your business?
Yeah. Big.
Yeah? Wouldn't it make a huge difference? Yeah?
Yeah.
So start thinking about that. Get up off your feet. The next thing I want you to think about, right? When you get up off your feet, what am I doing right now?
Eye contact.
I'm making eye contact, but there's something else. I'm looking straight into the camera. The camera is now exactly, I have it measured that it's exactly the same height as my pupils.
Ooh.
How many times have we seen people even stand up to do a presentation in the last 6 months, but their laptop is on the desk, so they're looking down at you? How does it feel when someone's looking down at you?
Not good.
Not good.
Not good, okay? So think about how can you get even a couple of cardboard boxes. Look, nobody's short of cardboard boxes. Everything we buy at the moment is coming in bloody cardboard boxes, right? Keep a few of them. Tape them up so that they're good and strong. Sit them on your desk and put your laptop on the box so that you're looking directly into the camera. It completely changes, how you look. It changes your confidence. And most importantly, it stops your customers feeling like you're looking down your nose at them. Because I know I don't like it if somebody looks like they're looking down their nose at me. And neither do you. So if you don't like it and I don't like it, what makes you think your customers are going to like it?
Most people on the call actually are looking directly at the camera.
But they're sitting down now. If you were standing up now to put the energy into it, to put the Jerry Maguire into it, what would you be doing?
Looking down.
Looking down. I'm going to give you an example, right? Lorraine, I know from the Professional Speaking Association, and we have a monthly meeting and 2 or 3 people stand up and they spout their whatever, right? And we have to do it again tomorrow, don't we? You notice the way I say we have to, right? I'm so fucking excited by it. But the point I want to make is, how often, Lorraine, do we see people and they make they're making this stuff and they're looking down their nose at it?
If we're being really honest, Peter.
Yes.
I would say we're looking at 80% are pretty sad.
Yeah. Okay. And you know what? Do you know what they talk about, Lorraine? Because I don't. Because the moment I see them do that, I'm looking out the window or I'm looking at my phone and it's going in one ear and out the other. And I don't want that happening for you guys. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. The eye contact, the energy, putting in the dance. Okay. Now, the third thing I want to talk about today is quite simply your opener. They're grabbing the attention. Because what are they going to be expecting? They've had a whole week of really boring things on Zoom. What are they going to expect you to be?
Boring.
Right? Now, you're not going to get away with bringing AC/DC into it and getting them up to dance, right? Not all the time. Try it. See what happens. You never know, right? But I want you to start thinking differently about your opener. Imagine if I had turned on the thing today and I went, "Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Peter. I'm 5'7".
You've grown an inch.
What? Sorry.
You've grown an inch.
Yeah, I've lost an inch. Anyway, I take a 38-inch jacket. I have a 32-inch waist. I have a 31-inch inside leg. I take a size 7 shoe.
That's probably enough of the particulars now, Peter.
Now,
Yeah. Too much information.
how fucking weird would that be in a social situation, in a human-to-human situation, for me to actually introduce myself to you with my features?
Yep.
Very weird.
Very.
Strange.
How many of you introduce your businesses with the business's features? Hello, my name's Joe and I'm an architect and I've been an architect for 177 years and I've built oh my God! How does it make you feel when somebody does that?
You're telling me something I already know.
Yeah. If they're already, you know, they've looked you up on the internet, they know this shit already, right? I'm going to take you out of that, right? Let's imagine it's a dating show. We're all familiar with dating shows on the telly, right back to Cilla Black and The Blind Date, to Paddy McGuinness and Take Me Out, and everything that's been in it in the meantime, right? And what happens? And they say, and here we have, and somebody stands out and they go, hi, my name's Michael, and I'm from Bolton, and I'm 27, and I'm an engineer, and fuck off. I'm not interested, right? And how many of them, they press the buzzers and the lights are turned off and all that stuff, but it's what we see all the time, isn't it? And what have I been talking to you about many times here? It's not what we do that gets people excited, it's what?
Make them feel.
How you make them feel.
And
what we do for them.
The hint of, and I've used the word a million times, what is it? The hint of an outcome.
Oh yeah, sorry.
The hint of an outcome, right? Imagine this, if I may be so bold, and I'm on a dating show, and 3 people have gone home. My name's Joe, and I'm a this, and I'm a this, and they've prattled on for 5 minutes. And imagine I just went, hi, ladies, my name's Peter. I've got a 7-inch tongue, and I can breathe through my ears. What have I just done?
Created a weird image.
Well, I just think that's the naughtiest thing you've ever said. Forget about the cursing.
Noreen. I'm with Noreen.
Did it hint
No, but I love the police, that's the difference.
Right.
You're
Did
an
it hint at an
amphibian.
outcome?
Oh dear.
Did it stop
It's
you
going
in
to be a
your
great
tracks?
weekend. I feel the hot flushes coming on and everything now.
Sorry, I missed it. Can we press rewind?
Will I do it again for Jean? Will I?
No.
No.
Anyway, the point is, guys, was it the same as everybody else's?
No.
Definitely no.
Was it a hint at an outcome?
Yeah.
Right. And how many of you sort of got pictures, right?
I love all the dirty-minded people on this.
This lockdown just become more arduous now.
You still managed to take it to a whole new level.
New level.
Yes, and I do, and I've explained this, right, guys? And this is for the new people as well. Everybody, most people are here. Most people want to get to here. And my job is to be here so that I can drag you some of the way. If you're here and I'm here, how more likely are you going to come that far with me?
Yeah.
That's why I do this over the top shit, guys. Okay? Because I need to drag you screaming and kicking into this. Okay? Because we've 2.5 more years of this fucking lockdown to go. And I want you all to come out the other side of it with work.
My poor ears.
Okay? So anyway, right? The thing I want you to do is to start learning to open your presentation. Before you create your excitement, before you do all your bits, is to learn how to create the hint of the outcome. That's not working. Hint that outcome. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Hint at the outcome. So, guys, there were 3 really big things that we talked about today. Know who you are an expert to, and know what your expertise does. Are you a shopping bicycle? Are you a Tour de France bicycle? Are you a mountain bicycle? Because here's the thing. We tend to bunch up the brackets too much. Every one of you knows somebody that would call themselves a cyclist. But how many of them could make it up the top of the Tour de France? Some of them might be lucky to get from here to the newsagent, but they'll still call themselves that. If you're going out and about and you're doing your industry's equivalent of calling yourself a bicycle or a cyclist, what chance have you got of being special to somebody? Okay, so who are you an expert to and what are you an expert at? The The next one is to stand up and stop sitting looking into screens. Get your energy. Did you all write that thing down about the words, the music, and the dance?
Yeah.
Okay. And start thinking about how you get that dance in. It is 60% of the communication. Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, how many of you spend time practicing the dance?
I've never ever practiced.
Yeah.
I do workshops regular, and I never practice.
No.
And I never look back at myself either. But
no.
Yeah.
And, but how many hours do we agonize over the words? You wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning before a big presentation going, oh, what if I say this? What if I say that? Start thinking about, how am I going to say this? And how am I going to do that? Rather than what if I say. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And the third one is, when you know who you're an expert to, you know what your expertise does, how do you change your language to talk about an outcome rather than what it is and what it does? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because if you do that, and there's 5 other people up for the contract, who's going to be the one they remember? Who's going to be the one they're most likely to say yes to?
You.
And who's going to come across as the best?
You.
Yeah? So, I'm going to finish this up now. Don't sign off just yet. I'm going to finish this up now. I'm going to ask you all to stand up again.
Okay.
Please.
Do it.
This is a lot of exercise, Peter.
Getting our exercise in before the weekend.
You too, Victoria. I see you sitting there. Come on.
Poor Andrew's in the car. She's going to have to jump up at the seat.
Now, why am I coming along here every single Friday for the last number of months and will be here with you through lockdown? Why am I doing that? I already know this stuff.
Because you're a star.
Because I want you guys to be able to communicate this.
How did I know something was coming?
I call you, I need you, my heart's on fire. Come to me wild and wild. You come to me, give me everything I need. Give me a lifetime promises and a world of dreams. Speak the language of love like you know what it means. And it can't be wrong. Take my heart and make it strong. You're simply the best. Better than all the rest. Better than anyone. Anyone ever met. Stop out your heart. I hang on every word you say. Chairs to fall. Baby, I would rather be dead. In your heart, since the start of every night and every day.
Every day.
In your eyes, I get lost, I get washed away.
Lost away.
Just as long as I'm here in your arms, I could be in no better place. You're simply the best.
You're simply the best.
Better than all the rest. Better
Have an incredible weekend, guys. See you next week.
That was great.
Well
done, everyone.
Well done.
Well done, everyone. Goodbye.
Now,
Bye.
go and be,
Have a
go
great
and be
week.
the best.